So you're looking for a new Apple laptop, and you're staring down the biggest question in tech right now, MacBook Air or MacBook Pro. You'd think it's a simple choice, but trust me, the answer is way more complicated than it looks. Let's break it all down.
This is it, right? The classic dilemma. You're ready to pull the trigger on a new machine, you see these two incredible options, and you're stuck. One feels like the smart, practical choice, the other is the big, powerful, professional one. But which one do you actually need?
And hey, if you're feeling a little overwhelmed by the choice, you're not alone. The lines between these two laptops have gotten seriously blurry. But don't you worry, because by the time we're done here, you are going to know exactly which one is right for you.
All right, first up, the agonizing choice. Let's dig into why this decision feels so tough in the first place. You know, it used to be so easy, didn't it? The Air was for emails and web browsing, the Pro was for the heavy lifting. But now, with Apple Silicon, even the base model, fanless MacBook Air is so ridiculously powerful, it can run circles around older MacBook Pros. So the old rules, they just don't apply anymore. We've got to look deeper.
So if raw power isn't the whole story, then what is? Well, let's look at the differences you'll actually see and feel every single day you use the machine.
First off, that beautiful screen. And while both are absolutely gorgeous, they are not the same technology. The Air has a fantastic Liquid Retina display, but the Pro has a Liquid Retina XDR display. It uses mini LEDs for these incredibly deep blacks and amazing contrast that just pops. If you do any kind of color-critical work, it's a big deal.
But it's not just about how the screen looks, it's about how it feels. The Pro's display has what Apple calls ProMotion, 120 Hz refresh rate. And what that means is that everything from just scrolling a web page to dragging a window across the screen feels buttery smooth. It's one of those things that once you experience it, it is really, really hard to go back.
And then there are the ports, the practical stuff. For photographers, videographers, or really anyone who plugs into an external monitor, the Pro just has you covered. It's got a built-in HDMI port and an SD card reader. With the Air, well, you're living the dongle life. And for a professional, that can be a real pain.
Okay, pay close attention because this next part is maybe the most important piece of this whole puzzle. The real secret to the Pro's power, it isn't just about having a slightly better chip. It's about something else entirely. This is the key question. You can literally buy a MacBook Pro with the exact same M4 chip that's inside the MacBook Air. So why would you ever pay more for it? How can it possibly be faster? Well, the answer comes down to one crucial technical concept. And that concept is called thermal throttling. Now, it sounds super technical, but it's actually pretty simple. When a computer chip works really hard for a long time, it gets hot. And to protect itself from damage, it intentionally slows down. This is the biggest performance bottleneck for pretty much any modern computer.
And this is the magic trick. The MacBook Air has no fan. It's completely silent. Think of it like a sprinter, unbelievably fast for short bursts. The MacBook Pro, on the other hand, has an active cooling system. It has a fan. It's a marathon runner, built to handle that heat and just keep going at top speed pretty much forever.
Just look at this chart. It tells the whole story. Let's say you're doing a long 10-minute task, like exporting a 4K video. Both laptops start out just as fast. But you see that dip? That's the Air's performance dropping as it starts to get hot. Meanwhile, the MacBook Pro, thanks to its fan, just keeps chugging along at peak performance. No problem. So here's the bottom line. That fan is what makes the Pro a Pro machine. It's not about making web browsing faster. It's about being able to maintain that peak speed when you are pushing the machine to its absolute limits for minutes or even hours at a time. Okay, so now that we get the tech, let's make this personal. Let's figure out which one of these machines is actually built for the work that you do every day.
Look, the MacBook Air is the perfect machine for the vast majority of people. If you're a student, it's light and the battery lasts all day. For writers and business pros, it's totally silent and more than powerful enough for all your everyday tasks. It handles pretty much everything you can throw at it beautifully.
You should really only step up to the Pro if your job involves those long, sustained, heavy workloads. We're talking professional video editors, rendering 8K footage, developers compiling huge projects, or 3D artists working on complex scenes. For these folks, the time saved by the Pro's sustained performance literally translates to money. All right, we've gone through the displays, the ports, and that all-important performance secret. Let's boil all of this down to one final, simple verdict. Here it is. This is the single most important takeaway. The default choice for almost everyone should be the MacBook Air.
You should only upgrade to the Pro if you can point to a specific, regular task in your work that you know is going to be held back by the Air's fanless design.
And please, don't feel like you're settling for the Air. The modern MacBook Air is an absolute powerhouse. It's genuinely one of the best laptops ever made, with performance that was completely unthinkable in a machine this thin and light just a few years ago. It's not the lesser option. For most people, it's just the smarter one.
Ultimately, the choice comes right down to this simple question. Don't think about what you might do one day. Think about what your average week actually looks like. Are you a sprinter, doing quick bursts of work, or are you a marathon runner, pushing your machine for hours on end? Once you answer that, you'll know exactly which MacBook is right for you.